This week's United Nations General Assembly is shaping up to be one of the most contentious and unpredictable gatherings in years. With Donald Trump set to address world leaders in New York City, the stage is set for a clash of ideologies, geopolitical tensions, and high-stakes diplomacy. But here's where it gets controversial. Trump's approach to global crises, like the Ukraine war and the Gaza conflict, has already sparked sharp divides among allies and adversaries alike. Let's break this down. Trump's speech, a global stage for ambition and controversy. President Trump will deliver his address to the UN General Assembly at 9:50 a.m. on Tuesday, a moment he's framed as a chance to highlight both the challenges and triumphs of his administration. Among the key topics, the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, which Trump has repeatedly claimed he could resolve swiftly, and the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza, which he labelled a disaster over the weekend. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt teased that Trump will tout ceasefire agreements brokered by his team, and criticise globalist institutions for undermining world order. Yet the elephant in the room remains unaddressed: the growing rift between US allies and Trump's policies. Allies turn against the US stance on Palestine. While Trump prepares to speak, several US allies, including the UK, Canada, and France, are pushing for formal recognition of a Palestinian state at the UN, a move Washington and Israel have condemned as premature. Secretary of State Marco Rubio dismissed the effort as irrelevant, as long as the Gaza war rages on, calling it a vanity project for world leaders seeking relevance. He argued that such gestures only embolden Hamas and complicate peace talks. But here's the twist. Many of those same nations are now urging Trump to step in as a mediator. The only leader who can bring this together is President Trump, Rubio insisted, hinting at a paradox in the US position. The UN versus Trump, a fractured partnership. Trump's relationship with the United Nations has grown increasingly adversarial. His administration has withdrawn from agencies like the Human Rights Council and the World Health Organization, citing bias against Israel and excessive US funding. Meanwhile, contributions to the UN have been slashed. This week's meetings come as the US grapples with a telecom network seizure by the Secret Service, a sprawling operation involving 100,000 SIM cards linked to foreign governments, cartels, and organized crime. The disruption underscores the security. Trump, however, has publicly criticized Zelensky and claimed his personal ties to Putin could end the war in one day, a promise that now feels increasingly distant. Meanwhile, Polish President Karol Nawrocki may address Russian drone incursions into Polish airspace, a claim Trump has dismissed as a mistake, which Polish officials reject. Adding to the tension, Iran's UN delegation faces strict travel restrictions, barred from luxury shopping and limited to areas near the UN headquarters. The State Department justified this as a rebuke of Iran's regime elites, while its citizens suffer. A new UN ambassador and a divided world. This week also marks the debut of Mike Waltz, Trump's newly confirmed UN ambassador. Waltz, a former national security advisor, replaces Elise Stefanik, whose nomination was revoked, to retain her congressional role. With the US absent from the UN for much of Trump's second term, Waltz's performance could signal whether America's global influence is on the mend or further eroding. What's at stake? The UN General Assembly, which brings together all 193 member states, typically passes non-binding resolutions on issues like climate change and human rights. This year, however, the focus is on the Israel-Palestine conflict and the 80th anniversary of the UN's founding. The Assembly's theme, Better Together, 80 years and more for peace, development and human rights, feels almost ironic as divisions deepen. As Trump takes the mic, one question looms. Will his vision of American strength bridge these gaps or widen them? We'd love to hear your take. Do you think recognizing a Palestinian state now is a step toward peace, or a distraction from the real issues? Share your thoughts below.